go to it. I don't know why didn't I do that?
You want to buy a suit? We're now, I don't know if anybody's seen this. Are you? No. closer. Yeah. What's it?
I'm going to use it as a prompt. So at what point we start talking?
I have no idea. I assume we're on.
Somebody's gonna. I'll say good morning. Thank you for joining.
Send a message to Bill to tell us.
Those are the folks.
I assume those.
With us?
Yeah, I assume those are the ones watching us. Yeah, we could have Bill to tell us you can see it and hear us.
Should I just start since it's 10:20?
Sure. So we're trying to check with Bill to see if he sees and hears us.
Okay, well, good morning. We would like to thank you for joining us this morning for the conversation with Imagine BC on use cases for generating revenue through fintech. My name is Aisha Daughtery, and I'd like to introduce our panel. First, we have Eric Rind. He is the CEO of Imagine BC. Next, we have Nenad Jordovic, President, Imagine BC International. And then we have Ade Oni, the STEM advisor and STEM channel owner. So just to start, let's get a general introduction from Eric with regards to what is Imagine BC.
Thanks, Aisha. So for those out there, Imagine BC is a startup company focused on being we say it's fintech, and we like to say is we're a fintech company hiding as a media company. Because in fact, we offer a media component in helping individuals monetize their personal data and also their creativity, and that's where the media aspect comes into it. However, underneath, we are clearly operating almost like a fintech company. There's an entire accounting system built underneath. There's the issue of money movement between members of our community. So we do have quite a few of the same issues that a standard fintech company runs across built into our model. So that's what we're after. We're after helping individuals take back control of their personal data and turn that control into fair compensation.
Great. So next, let's talk to Nenad. How about you introduce us and explain some of the use cases that we are going to specify.
All right, thank you, Aisha. First, I want to start saying that these specific examples that we are going to cover here are not really specific to Africa. They're global in nature, but what makes them particularly interesting in African context is that Africa, because of its stage of development, can really leapfrog this redundant or maybe inferior technologies that everybody else is working on. The specific examples of interactions with fintech community include, first of all, the supplemental income. So the members of our community can earn supplemental income or can earn money through interactions with the community and the platform. And there are different ways that they can do this. But first is monetization of personal information or personal data. Our members get paid when they submit or they volunteer some information about themselves to market participants or to advertisers or other companies. The second way they can earn is through job interviews. So far, our research shows that 2 out of 3 people are not happy with their jobs and they want to move on. And now most of the recruiters don't really know this, and they call them passive candidates because they don't really know about it. They're not submitting their resumes, they're not job bulletins or anything like that. So if they come to our platform, they can find these people and know that they're looking for a job. And remember, they are anonymous, so they can't really, nobody can know, their current employers can't really know that they're looking for a job. So they can be accessed. And if you're contacted by a recruiter and answer to their call, you get paid. They pay you for interviewing with this particular company.
And that contact, is that going to come through the app? Is that going to send it to your email?
It actually has to come through the app, because of what Nenan said is that we protect the anonymity of our users. And that's important, because if everybody out there knows who you are, then you're essentially diluted the ability for you to continue to make money, because they can start contacting you outside the app. So we call ourselves a closed loop community, in that by protecting your anonymity, you can continue to receive fair value inside the app and not be worried about being bombed by things inadvertently and when you don't want them outside the app. So yes, in this specific case, where a company would want to contact you to interview you, they would contact you through the app. You would get a notification that company X is interested in talking to you about a position, what the position is, and more importantly, that the company is offering X to you to talk to them, or they're willing to match what you've said you want to be paid. And that's the thing. So passive candidates hate being cold called by recruiters. Doesn't mean they're not looking for a new position, but they absolutely hate being cold called by recruiters. So in our model, it says, hey, I'm open to be contacted, but if you're going to contact me, you're going to have to pay me X for my time. And amazingly, recruiters are willing to do it, because passive candidates are very valuable to them. And the cost, they'll decide if it's worth it or not, but many have said, hey, it's worth it.
Awesome. Interesting.
Well, something similar to that is the focus group and surveys. So there are many companies out there right now offering points or miles or anything, to participate in these surveys and focus group. The difference here is that first of all, you participate anonymously still, but you do get paid for this in real dollars, and the money goes into your bank account, or we'll talk about it later, to your internal balance that you can cash out through a card or some other method. The most interesting interaction, in my opinion, is you get paid for viewing ads. So imagine you're holding your phone and a message pops up saying, do you want to see a new ad for, I don't know, for a sports equipment company? And if you're willing to, you can just click on it, view the ad, and you get paid. You can, well, this is not going to be like much money, but if you see enough of these ads, you can use that money for many different reasons, and we'll talk later. You can use them to buy internal contact, to spend it any way you want, or to donate to some causes that you're familiar with, or that that you support. The last way you can earn through interactions with the community is community growth. When you refer somebody to our network, to our app, our platform, you earn a portion of what that person earns throughout the life of throughout their life in the ecosystem, so to speak. This does not go multiple levels down. This is just your direct invitees. Whatever they earn, you can earn a portion of their earnings through referring them to the app.
Yeah, let me jump in on that one, because that's a special one to us, because our model is to help individuals earn fair compensation for their intellectual property and their personal data. Well, think about your referral network. That's your network. You've spent years accumulating this network. It might be one of the most valuable assets you own, right? Is your network of people. So there are plenty of of apps out there and different pieces of software that say, oh, we'll pay you $5 for, we'll pay $10, because they're trying to glom onto your life's work, putting your network people together. But we want you to receive fair compensation for it. So we built a referral system that said, hey, for each person that you invite, the way we divvy up the money is anything that person buys or sells within our community, you will receive a piece of that transaction. And trust me, the person themselves is also making a fair value on their activity. So everybody wins here. You win because you continue to get value for your contact list. The individual wins because they're getting value for whatever they bought or sold. So that was really important to us, to build the correct way to do a referral system.
And that's the purchases used with the card system that's.
Yeah, not even with the card system, because it could be a simple barter within the application. So a good example would be, let's say I want to purchase content from somebody I'm interested in, a singer or a writer. I want to purchase something they're selling, and let's say a subscription to their content is $2 a month. Rather than me going into my wallet to spend $2 a month, instead I can remember, oh, there's 3 ads over there in a survey that if I take those, I'm going to earn $2. So I quickly go over and I spend a couple of minutes watching those ads, filling that survey in. I've earned the $2, and now you can barter that $2 right within the app to purchase the content. You've not gone into your wallet. Everybody receives fair compensation. And the person who had invited that person would also now start receiving compensation too from our referral system. So everybody's winning. Of course, in a win-win-win, there always has to be a loser. And we like to say the loser is Facebook and Google. And nobody's going to cry if they lose.
They can afford to lose.
They can afford to lose.
And
yeah, the second example of interactions is product and service promotion for our business clients or for our business members. They get a free data mining access, which means that they don't need to pay for anything when they come in and do surveys on our platform or find their potential users or potential buyers. The payment occurs only when the transaction occurs. So if you send an ad, or if you want to interview somebody through our platform, you will pay them directly, and then you don't need to actually pay for the research to find them. You can come and find them based on the questions they answered about themselves, our users. They can find them and pitch directly to them and pay them for viewing ads or completing a survey. We also offer a democratized access to the market, because we are enabling small businesses who don't have really big budgets for advertising or market service to access their potential communities or their potential users for very little money, paying them directly and avoiding third-party intermediaries to get to their prospective market.
That's a very important point, because the game of marketing and advertising is the big boys game. They've got the budgets to do it. And a good example is take a small business, a friend, or our CFO has a friend, she runs a cleaning service, right? So she went out and she bought a list of contacts in her area to do an advertising campaign to. That list cost her thousands of dollars. Then she had to do sending out the marketing that cost her more money. And she got one response that said, please take me off your list.
right.
So she's out that money without any hits at all, without no return on investment. We turn that model on upside down. So now inside our model, she has access to the community for free. She could send the offer out. So rather than paying the $5,000 to that company who had the list, she's going to break that up and say, hey, if you read my offer, I'll pay you X. So let's say it was $1. So she reaches 5,000 people and only 2,500 have read her offer, right? She's only out $2,500.
Right.
So that's a superior model to, I spend everything up front and I get no return on my investment.
Exactly.
We also, I can quickly relate it to that. I'm going to tell about the Joe the Builder. We had a friend, a friend of a company who runs a house flipping business. And we asked him, how much money you spend. I'm not going to mention the platform, but he spends $18,000 a year advertising his business. And we asked him, how many clients do you have, or how many referrals? And he said 6 or 7 or something like that. We ran quick numbers, and we figured out that for $2,500 he can get 10 qualified leads, and most of them would actually turn into customers, because these are the people who agreed to answer his survey. So this is clearly a superior way of promoting and advertising your business that way.
And one thing we've skipped over a little bit, let's go back to the anonymity, because people out there may be asking, how do you do this when everybody's anonymous? And the answer is that we have two scores inside of our system. One we call a trust score and one we call a reputation score. And although we keep a person's identity, their name, their contact information secure to that person, and only they decide when to give that up and for how much they're willing to give it up, you, a third party, would have the ability to say, oh, with a high trust score, I know that this person is only in this community once. Now that's an important thing, because everybody knows out there that in the world of Amazon, Google, Facebook, you can have multiple accounts. So when you go and spend on an advertising campaign, you might be spending for the same eyeballs over and over and over again. Where with a high trust score, you know this person's only in our community once. So when you spend something on them, you're only spending on them once. Then the second score, we call the reputation score, that's if the person is acting honorably inside of our community. That score will go up and down. So the third parties have the ability to say, I'm sending this campaign out, but only to people who have trust scores above this number and reputations above this number. So they can be sure that they're only reaching eyeballs once and their money is, again, being better spent. Right. So we've removed fraud from the system because you're only getting to actual people who exist, real live people. And secondly, you're only reaching them once. So it's a better spend on your money, even though we're retaining anonymity.
Interesting. I think that the best component is the interaction from the user and knowing that they are going to, in fact, capitalize on it in multiple ways. Right. I think that's the most interesting thing.
And think about it from a sense of emerging markets in Africa, right? Mm-hmm. We're not bound by borders. Right. The beauty of technology is you're not bound by borders. So somebody in any part of the African continent can become a member of our community as easily as some of the United States. Mm-hmm. So we're opening up markets in the United States to markets in Africa and reverse. There are as many talented people in Africa who have content to sell to Americans as there are Americans who have content to sell to people on the African continent. And we're making the platform available to them all with all the advantages we just discussed.
Or donate to causes in Africa, which is the next thing I was going to talk about, the next example of interactions. But sorry, you had a question.
Maybe. Oh, no, I don't. Go ahead.
Okay. So the next example of interactions is, interactions within fintech community is donations. As I mentioned earlier, the money, either the free money or the new money you earn through interacting with the community, you can spend on causes that are dear to you or that you're affiliated with, and the only condition is that the cause, that the organization that you're donating is a registered 501c3.
Well, the legitimate nonprofit.
A legitimate nonprofit organization. So clearly, this is a great way to support causes that you care about, and maybe engage other people and involve them in some sort of a contest, if you will, through the platform. The next one is kind of interesting. We here in the U.S. we partnered with the largest administrator of gift and prepaid cards. Our members who do not have their Imagine BC account tied to their bank account can still spend the money earned within the ecosystem through this card. You can transfer your balance to this prepaid card and make purchases at outlets or at stores where this card is accepted. We are considering and we're planning to apply a similar model, and we're already talking to some of the largest financial institutions in Africa. Once we're up and running in our first region, and we'll talk about it later, we will talk to them and see if we can apply this model for our unbanked members. Speaking of banks and financial institutions, the great way our business clients can use our ecosystem is as a provenance tool. Every member, when they register when they download our app, and Eric spoke about this, they're presented with a set of questions, and we're trying to determine that first that they are who they really are, and second maybe judge their character. So we have two types of scores. We have trust score, which tells the community that the member is really who they claim they are. And then the reputation score, which tracks their behavior within the community, and they can increase the score and become more visible to
advertisers,
and
to
everyone.
everyone.
Why is this important to financial institutions? They can help their due diligence process, especially when it comes to KYC or know your customer. We know, and all financial institutions, for this is a great burden for them, and one of the most onerous tasks actually that they do when they open accounts for individuals. And this is why we have so many unbanked people, because they clearly can't do this efficiently and cheaply. So this would be a great use actually for financial community,
because it's a part of the step that for when the initial user even comes into the platform. Awesome. Well, speaking of Africa, let's talk about specifics of the Pan-African strategy that you guys have and how ADE comes into play here. So Nenan, can you tell me a little bit about the Pan-African strategy?
Well, sure. I mean, we have a lot of experience from our previous careers. We have a good experience working in Africa throughout the continent, and we clearly, because of the nature of our business model, we thought that it could particularly play well in Africa, and specifically in sub-Saharan Africa. We are attacking the continent, if you will, with a regional strategy. We are planning several hubs through which we will promote and expand our business in Africa. We're starting first with West Africa, and there will be 3 or 4 countries in this cluster that we will promote our company within. Another one could be East Africa, then Southern Africa, and maybe central part. We will see how that will go. But clearly, because I want to talk about Nigeria first, because that's the country where we have the most experience, and we have collaborators and friends who are very active there, with very good connections within the business community. So this is going to be our first foray into the continent, and we are pretty much ready to go. We're working on several initiatives in West Africa right now, and I'll let Ade and Eric talk about it a little bit more. But the regional approach is the name of the game for us for now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so I'll pick it up, and then Adi, you provide some detail. Yeah. So real quick, we here in the United States, we initially tried to build our community through banks and insurance companies, and not surprisingly, here in the United States, these are dramatically conservative companies who didn't understand the value of what we could bring to them from a digital perspective, the ability to do KYC very quickly, the ability to have a bank account that acts as also my barter account within our community. So we didn't make a lot of headway here in the United States, but working with Adi, we found that it's far more receptive across the ocean. Yeah. So why don't you pick up on that and talk about it a little bit?
Okay, so the appeal of this platform, particularly to a slew
How about now?
Yeah.
Are they hearing us now? Open it up. I'm in the show. Yeah. If you can hear us now, could somebody please put that in the chat?
Can you hear me okay?
I can, yes.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay, sorry. Technical issue. Sorry, everybody in the audience. What's the issue with the audio?
They're saying they can't hear us.
Yeah, they can hear us now.
Oh, they can't hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Okay.
So can someone tell us when exactly?
When we went dark?
Had Adi started speaking yet? We have to figure out where we went dark.
Yeah.
Hey. William or Leland, do you know where the presentation ended at, or where they should begin with the audio?
No, we really don't.
We don't know where we went out.
We didn't know.
We have a friend. We have a friend in the audience who actually alerted us to this issue, so we know.
Okay. Let's see. Right when Mr. Oni started.
Adi started speaking. Okay, so I guess we should start from West African strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, folks.
Right.
Okay. So
Again.
Okay. So I was saying that central to the future of fintech in Africa, and particularly in the region, the first phase of this interaction between Emerging BC and the African continent, which is West Africa, and even more closely when we talk about Nigeria. Central to the success of the fintech industry in Africa is going to be STEM education. And I'm talking about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There is a very strong dearth from knowledge, strong interest in knowledge related to STEM in Nigeria and for that matter across the whole continent of Africa. And so one of the big components, or one of the most useful components of the Emerging BC platform is a STEM channel that allows the community to learn about technology, to register, to sign up with a mentor or a tutor, or to just learn about opportunities. We learned about the success of a very small company in Lagos a few months ago that got acquired by Stripe for about $200 million in the US. That is what we're talking about, the expansion of such success. The founders of this company are local young startups that went to school locally and just were very lucky to connect with some activities in terms of technology in Silicon Valley and became very successful. So if you could see this sort of success across the continent, you're looking at an alternative to the traditional oil and gas, for example, in Nigeria. You're beginning to see a diversity of technology and inbred and country grown startups that would really improve the economic standing of the population. So the STEM channel within Imagine BC on the Imagine BC platform is going to be positioned to enable people to learn about technology careers, financial, fintech pathways, science education, and all of these things are really going to be over the short term really empower the growth of technology business that would in turn support the fintech industry. And maybe you could add a little more.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we covered our interactions with the financial services industry because
very quickly, we wanted to use financial, especially banks and insurance companies, and use them as our member growth strategy. Needless to say, banks have millions of people that they interact with every day, so we could grow our community through their network. They could basically enable us to use their users who are already bank with bank accounts, who can easily come onto our platform and start earning money that way. Conversely, we can help them grow their user base by they can get on onto our platform and solicit new accounts or find new customers this way. It's a great example of interaction. It's a great synergy between our two industries this way, and use of our platform actually in this context.
Yeah, we probably also missed the fact that I brought up that we actually built a platform on blockchain technology. And the importance of that is obviously to help our members secure their identities and their personal information. But when you think of it in context of a fintech organization, right, they spend a tremendous amount of money to ensure secure communications to their users on non-secure platforms. The internet is not a secure platform. Blockchain is a secure platform. So by a fintech organization having a channel, as Ali was referring to, even like a STEM channel, it almost becomes Internet 3.0, because now you're running on a blockchain layer. So when a fintech organization wishes to communicate with its customer base, it always has to use its private key to update its messaging. And therefore, the customer base will know that those communications can only have come from the financial organization, because the financial organization would never give away their private key. So it raises trust in the communications and reduces the cost of ensuring secure communications by properly using a blockchain platform, which we built, and it's amazingly enough, we kind of just stumbled onto it. It wasn't our primary, our primary thing is to help people make money from their data, but in helping them secure their data, we also found out we helped them secure all the messaging.
Exactly.
Right. Well, speaking of blockchain, maybe we should talk briefly, because we don't have much time left for this segment, about the specific initiative in West Africa, involving blockchain technology.
It's another aspect. So in addition to looking at financial organizations in West Africa, we're also looking at potential government organizations in West Africa. And how did government organizations get involved? Well, the natural thing is through identity management systems. And I'm a true believer in them. I'm a true believer in blockchain-based identity management systems. And if you see this ridiculousness that went on in the United States here just this past week around, is this vote legitimate or is this vote not legitimate? Well, smart people out there realize that with blockchain-based voting, we wouldn't have had this issue. But you don't go from here to blockchain-based voting without the government introducing an identity management system, which is now my identity is secured within the blockchain, secured by me, shared with the government for the services the government provides to me. So, I like to use the example of my newly born grandson. My grandson was born, rather than a piece of paper being his birth certificate should have been the creation of his blockchain wallet. The key to that wallet would have been handed over to his parents. And as he matures through his life and things happen in his life that require interaction between him and the government, driver's license, registration for the draft, and anything, right? Then that all is happening on his wallet. Now, when you have that in place, then you have the ability to both provide service to your citizenry, but also fintech providing service to the customers off the same platform, a shared platform amongst commercial enterprises, government, and the citizenry. I think that's what we all strive for every day. Blockchain is the enabling technology to make it happen.
And this is not our dream or our plan. We've been approached by several entities, both on national and subnational level, throughout Africa to help them devise a solution for this. There are examples around the world of governments trying to implement identity management systems. Some have been very successful. We want to make sure that we are the first ones actually to bring this solution to Africa, and we'll be working on this actively.
Yes. And I think we can actually say that we have the beginnings of discussions about this with two countries, one in West Africa and the second in Central Africa as we speak.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's extremely exciting to be able to pull, a population in and provide the service of the identity management system, but at the same time, the benefits of the Imagine PC platform. So now you're not just helping your citizenry, right, to secure their identities, but you're creating a supplemental revenue stream from them through their personal data. Think how exciting that is, right?
Okay, well, I'd like to see if there's any questions from the audience members.
You probably want to
So I'm just going to come over here.
If there are any questions, just fire them through on the chat.
Pardon. All right. Let's see.
You probably have to go to the top there. You should come in like over.
The concept of liberating user data, letting individuals make money off of the data they generate, as opposed to big tech companies only being able to sell it, will be as big of a disruption to the data industry as social media was to traditional media.
Absolutely agree.
I agree.
Couldn't agree more. And in fact, it's a necessity, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all have come to the point to understand that social media companies are a detriment rather than a help to our society. And the ability to compensate people fairly for the use of their data is also a necessity and has to come into place over the next few years. And that's why we created Imagine BC. We're believers in that, and we're putting our money behind technology to make that happen.
Do you guys have any? Oh, here's another question. With a decentralized and private approach for storing user data, what have you found as the best way to optimize machine learning algorithms for effective personalization functions? Many companies today are so reliant on tracking users and storing information in their centralized databases in order to continuously train their personalization algorithms.
It's a great question, and it gets to the fundamental of how we designed our system, and we used outside resources to help us design it. So there's the nature of what information needs to be private and what information doesn't need to be private. So we contracted with some of the largest marketing firms and asked them, what do you need to know about people in an anonymous fashion to be able to reach them versus actually wanting to call them up. So the part of our application that is on blockchain is that part of the data set that needs to belong to the individual. Meanwhile, the individual may have volunteered more generic information about themselves where we can leverage AI ML technology on an ongoing basis without having to always ask for permission. So we bifurcated the nature of the data. We split it into purely personal data where you must ask the user every time. AI ML is not going to act on that data, but it doesn't need to. Yeah. Meanwhile, there's a set of generic information about our users which we can act on an aggregate fashion to look for opportunities for our users. There we do leverage AI ML, but we're not violating anybody's privacy in doing so. Because as the marketing firm said, look, you can't allow them to find the needle in the haystack. Mm-hmm. So we limit the ability for you to find that needle down to roughly it's about 250. So you can never look for a set of our users less than 250 people, because if you could start to use this to target individuals.
Gotcha. Let's see. I don't have another question. If anyone else has a question out there, feel free to throw it our way. Are there any other key points that you guys may want to just reiterate before we end the session here?
I don't think so. I think in summary, I think it's so. I think if you heard us talking, we're a big concept, so sometimes it gets confusing. So we have this aspect of the media, the channels that Adi talked about. We have this aspect of helping people monetize their personal data. But what's so important is these two things must work together. The world believes that content should be free. We don't believe content should be free. But if we can put people's personal data to work for them, now they have new income, some of which they'll be able to use to purchase content. And now the content providers have their own businesses. It's a growing, here in the United States, I like to say, we want to grow a virtual middle class. The middle class is getting hammered, but the middle class is retail and manufacturing. We want to create a virtual digital middle class. To do that, you have to stop taking people's intellectual property for free. But you want it for free. Well, we've got better than free. We're putting your personal data to work for you. Therefore, you spend some of that to receive the content, but you'll still have way more data, way more money available to take down to buy physical goods like groceries and maybe even pay the rent or your mobile bill. So it's a big concept, but it's important to think that those two aspects must work together to really combat, the big tech companies, as was mentioned earlier.
Well, if there aren't any additional questions, I'd like to end just by saying that we're coming to Africa. We're looking for collaborators. We're looking to grow our network, our user base, and we're looking for good people. We will need good people to work with us over there. We will be on the ground physically very soon. Would have been there already, if not for this pandemic. But we are very, very much interested in Africa, and we will be on the ground very soon. So
Yeah.
please let us know. We would love to work with all of you.
Good.
Yeah, and feel free to connect throughout the week with FinTech, Africa Fintech. Just send any of the participants today a message, a snap, a ping.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you all.